Guys, what do you think? How easy is it to be a trader? Let's put it this way. If you have at least some understanding of this business, then of course you know that no, it's not easy. Yes, because trading on the stock exchange is quite a complex job. In fact, the essence of this entire job boils down to making a profit from risks. But at the same time, for several decades now, there has been an opinion that speculation is bad, traders are parasites, yes, and so, is this really the case? How honorable indeed is the activity of trading on the stock exchange? We will explore this in detail in this video. Today we will discuss a kind of trader's code of honor, talk about what makes us successful, and of course touch on the social aspect, whether it is morally right to earn from price differences. Meanwhile, as I talk about all the pros and cons, I will be trading, using another quite good strategy. I actually tested it a few days ago, so make yourselves comfortable. Let's go! So guys, today we are trading with a very interesting set of 3 indicators. And the first one is a moving average with a period of 40. This is our main assistant. The second tool is the default RSI, and the third is momentum. And now let's figure out exactly how I will enter the market. So everyone focus on the chart. A good example for illustration. Here we have an uptrend, and here is the actual breakout of the price below the moving average, which was followed by a correction. The reverse breakout upwards marked the beginning of the trend continuation. And this allows us, accordingly, to open short-term trades in the direction of the crossover or to trade the entire trend. We also have 2 oscillators here, which can also be used to assess the growth stage and the strength of our trend. And look how the green momentum coincides with the upward movement. If this indicator rises, the price rises accordingly. Here is an excellent reference material. Of course, signals don't always keep up with the market, but it will be useful in a number of cases, which we will also use. By the way, here's the opposite situation. The momentum turned red, the price fell. Well, we use the RSI, simply as intended, entering overbought or oversold conditions. Oversold, yes, a signal that the market might reverse. Well, I think that's enough theory for now. Now let's move on to practice. Let's go. So guys, I found the first opportunity to open a trade, and here I am entering a short position. Now I'll show you why. First of all, we look at the breakout of the support zone, which the price passed a few minutes ago. And earlier, the quote crossed below the moving average. This is also clearly visible. And at the same time, the momentum is red. The RSI is not overheated yet. Oh, so let's just wait for the outcome and see what happens. And in the meantime, let's start our topic. Guys, well, there is an opinion that speculation is bad, any kind, including on the stock exchange, and that traders are parasites. And it turns out that speculators are generally immoral characters who just press buttons and make money out of thin air. Well, of course, personally, I believe that traders are quite curious people. They strive for freedom and personal growth, and every dollar is certainly not earned just like that, but through the improvement of their skills. And this, in my opinion, is perfectly normal and very understandable. And we will talk about this a little later, because I closed my first trade, in profit by the way, yes. And now let's continue trading. Look, here's a great opportunity on the pound to Canadian dollar chart. I'm entering a short position and will now provide all the comments on the current position. I'll explain everything. Let's start with the momentum. It's red. The RSI is not yet oversold, and at the same time, the price has crossed below the moving average. Everything absolutely points to the possibility of the market falling, so we just have to wait. So, why are traders sometimes portrayed as some kind of villains? And the essence, of course, lies only in the fact that we supposedly create nothing. And there is no such product that becomes available to society that is some kind of useful good. So let's analyze this point in general, how fair it is. That is, we could consider, for example, entrepreneurs as parasites, since they don't stand at the machine, don't sweep the yards, don't treat people. That is, businessmen rather just organize the conditions for production and the provision of certain services. And for this, they receive their profit, and yet no one calls them parasites. But don't you find this a bit of a strange inconsistency? So the deal here is closed in profit, and for now, I see an opportunity to stay on this chart, so let's wait a bit and see what happens next. So now I will slightly expand on my thought. That is, I mean that an entrepreneur creates supply for demand. But traders essentially do the same thing. They acquire assets and offer them to those who are interested. It all makes sense. Here I opened another trade. So what I'm actually emphasizing, traders perform a very important function in stock trading. They participate in the formation of liquidity. That is, thanks to them, you can buy or sell anything at any time right through your smartphone. And there is always a buyer or seller. Meanwhile, prices don't fluctuate like a roller coaster. And at every level, there is a certain group of interested people. Besides this, there is another non-obvious benefit that traders provide. They bring assets to fair prices. That is, to some reasonable golden mean. Well, let's say there is some stock that is clearly undervalued, and there will be hundreds of traders who will figure this out and buy up the asset en masse. And as a result, it will increase in price accordingly. So by the way, we have another deal in the plus. So the company will receive well-deserved funding, and many will profit well from this. The traders did everything absolutely right and became a bit richer in the process. Can we really call such activity parasitism? Well, guys, no. I am absolutely sure that such arguments will convince a person who for some reason blames traders for their uselessness. It will make him reconsider his views. I believe that absolutely any legal activity is beneficial if it brings profit. In my opinion, this is very fair. So here we open another deal, squeezing the potential of this trend to the end. And look, friends, another reason. It's not so important how you make money. As they say, money doesn't smell. The main thing is what you spend it on. And what prevents a successful trader from sharing part of the profit with others? Well, let's say investing in orphanages, shelters, some funds. Everything always depends on the individual person. You shouldn't judge him just because he is a trader based on his profession. It's not just pressing a button. Believe me, guys, it's a very, very big effort, analysis, many sleepless nights, and constant improvement. And believe me, guys, in trading too. There are many good people. There are virtues who constantly strive to also improve themselves, to sculpt a statue of themselves, more improved and more brilliant. By the way, another trade closed in profit, and I continue to trade this chart. You could say you can still sit on it. So most people come to the financial markets precisely with the aim of making money, which in fact is quite natural and understandable. Yes, because the exchange offers huge opportunities for financial growth. And it is absolutely natural that everyone wants to receive financial rewards for their efforts. But if a trader focuses solely on the financial result and ignores the process, the chances of success are significantly reduced. Because if you focus only on the desire to work, you might miss the important aspect of personal development. Therefore, to achieve sustainable success, you need to constantly work on yourself, prepare for some deep internal transformations and self-improvement. Yes, we are entering the trade once again. I think probably this will be the last trade on this asset. So, one of the key components of success in trading is precisely the ability for self-analysis. A speculator must constantly observe their emotions and thoughts during trading, understand what they are doing, and of course, look at it. Right, from the depths, for example, there. The fear of losing money, yes, this very often leads to losses. And yet the market is always full of some uncertainties. Therefore, this is also, of course, a certain kind of stress. And the acceptance of these facts and the willingness to work with this market chaos is another principle of a successful trader. Instead of trying to control every aspect of the market, a speculator learns to focus on what they can control. That is, managing risks, adhering to their strategies, and planning trades. And from all of this emerges the main approver of the trader. It's perseverance. So we'll continue a bit later. I closed another trade in profit and plan to look for new entry points on other charts. So here's a great opportunity to enter the market on the chart, pound to yen. And I'm opening a trade to go short. Now I'll show you and explain why I made this decision. Look, first of all, we see a break below the moving average. I already mentioned the potential for a price drop in this case. Secondly, the oscillators are not overheated, which means there is room to decline. It's all absolutely simple. So we were talking about perseverance. The second good quality is patience. Very often, most of the time is spent just on some endless waiting for the right moment. And precisely, the ability to wait. The ability to endure this pause, rather than entering a trade impulsively, distinguishes successful traders from those who lose their deposits. Patience is also, of course, necessary to endure periods of losses and not abandon everything halfway. And persistence helps the speculator to continue learning and improving, even when your results leave much to be desired, despite all difficulties. Meanwhile, our trade closed in profit again. For now, we will stay here and most likely re-enter. Guys, of course, I understand that all this is not easy, but those who are ready to constantly develop and not give up will certainly achieve success sooner or later. And now, when someone tells you that you are engaged in utter nonsense, or worse, that you are a parasite on public goods, just explain to the person how truly complex trading is, how it works, and what it demands from a trader. A parasite simply attaches itself to a host and lives at its expense. It does not overcome itself, not develop, and risks nothing. Therefore, a trader can be compared, most likely, to a butterfly that has transformed from a caterpillar. Forgive me for such a lofty comparison. But indeed, to learn to fly here, it truly requires a heroic effort from you. And, by the way, I'm back in the market here. Everything points to a further decline, so we continue. And in any such sessions, when there is an opportunity to open one trade after another under similar conditions, you can certainly accelerate the deposit much faster. That's why today is really incredibly lucky. Let's also talk about the prices that are important for a real trader, because this is, of course, very important as well. So the best among us learn from mistakes, unfortunately, from their own, yes, and know how to treat them as feedback from the market. So a professional, of course, does not despair. He does not demand success, some instant one that will be brought to him on a silver platter. Because a true trader understands that everything, of course, depends only on him and constantly strives to reach new heights. Absolutely nothing can break a true trader. Any difficulty is perceived by him simply as a challenge that must be accepted. So, great, I'm in the black again, and now I can change the currency pair. Let's get to it. Great, Euro-Canadian dollar entering the ring for an increase. Now I'll show you why. All attention to the chart. First of all, it should be noted that the upward nature of the price is, of course, present. Here, there is a clear trend. It is directed upwards. And secondly, the momentum indicates growth. It is currently in its green stage, and the RSI is not overbought. At the same time, the quote is also on the moving average. Everything indicates growth. Let me give you another example. While the deal is ongoing, why trading is good and not bad. A competent speculator is an analyst. They possess methods of working with technical indicators, can read charts, formulate hypotheses, and turn their forecasts into profit. And a trader is, of course, also an erudite economist. They understand finance, are well versed in macroeconomics, keep up with the news, know how the world and trade are structured, and understand the role of different countries in macroeconomics. So this deal is also closed in profit, and I think that it will be possible to work as closely with this quote as with the previous one. So let's stay here for now and wait a little. So, returning to the topic, traders are not just speculators chasing profit. They are very intelligent, erudite individuals with a broad perspective and understanding of large-scale processes. And it turns out that trading on the stock exchange simply contributes to the development of their personality. To earn, traders must constantly learn something new, discover various facts, seek out their own patterns, and read specialized literature. In this way, a speculator not only becomes wealthier but also self-actualizes, meaning they receive an education, an absolutely colossal education. And not every profession offers such a wide scope for unlocking one's inner potential. Therefore, please respect this. It's really cool. So look, here it entered at the base of the continuation of the price increase, and let's see what comes of it, friends. And finally, what I would like to say about trading is that it is certainly not just a job where a person earns a stable income to make ends meet. It is, of course, an opportunity to get rich, change life for yourself and your loved ones, and reach a new level of income. And for many traders, this is a very big chance, which will make them much happier and more secure. It's very, very important, guys. Do you know any other profession for which you don't need to get some kind of professional education? And you can learn it on your own. You might not spend much time on it, or maybe quite a bit, but you can earn steadily. Very substantial amounts. In my opinion, it's very cool and overall very cool that we now live in times when being smart is very fashionable. And finally, we've grown to this point and everyone understands. And in times of great opportunities and the ability to influence your own life independently. So by the way, our deal has concluded. Let's find another opportunity and wrap up. Guys, here it is, our final entry point. A deal has been opened for a price decrease. So friends, it's simple here. I've already analyzed such examples several times in this episode. And while the expiration is ongoing, let's summarize everything that has been said. You can encounter people who, for some reason, are hostile towards us. Yes, traders. They believe that speculators are parasites and criticize trading on the stock exchange without knowing anything about it at all. In reality, of course, traders play a quite active role in the realization of market demand and supply, and accordingly, they contribute to the establishment of fair prices. But besides that, our craft is not that easy. Mastering it, and the path to becoming a trader, is certainly a continuous process of personal growth and is rightly not connected to it. It has nothing to do with it at all, so it's just a provocation. I believe there's no need to argue. Just do your job, achieve results, and enjoy it. The great guys have reached a balance of more than $2,500. Guys, an excellent trading session is behind us, so to speak. We really got to grips with a great strategy, and of course, we also covered an important topic, which is also very important. Guys, what I want to say: engage in trading, make money, and of course, change your life for the better. There will always be someone who envies you or accuses you of having the wrong approach to life. That's absolutely normal. So instead of focusing on someone else's criticism, it's better to think about how to develop qualities in yourself that will help you become more effective. That's all for now. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, because your engagement is of course very important. It helps me understand what I'm doing. Really great content. Leave comments on what you liked and what you didn't like. I always read everything, respond, and enjoy it. Guys, even the critics, honestly. Don't forget to check out Telegram too. That's all for now. I wish you good luck, Mashi, and lots of money.